Okay, I chose a really dumb time to start this video because I clicked the thing and then I was like, I'll just write the introduction to my letter. No, I won't. Sorry. I don't know, I'm like really overconfident in my multitasking abilities to the point where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't try to multitask that, Claire. Like, you probably shouldn't try to pluck your eyebrows while you're driving. Not that I've done that, but like, that's the kind of level of stupidity where I go to sometimes. So anyways, hi. All my videos start the same. It starts like with me complaining and then me going, but anyways, hello. And then it's just a shit show from there. But I've got the best coffee ever. I made, it's called coffee cake. So it's like flavored like coffee cake, but it's not sweet. I cannot begin, forgive me, to explain my emotions about flavored coffees. I don't think I could say anything that would justify the way I feel about them because all my life you stood by me when no one else. Sorry. All my life I have struggled with, oh, I would love a flavored beverage, but I don't want it to be sweet because I really don't understand drinking sweet things because it makes me thirsty. Like, I'm just like, especially with coffee, like I've got to be like, if I'm like really in a decadent mood, then I can kind of see like, oh, I'll get some mocha in there or something, because then it's like, oh, you're sipping on like a dessert. But if you just have like a drink, like living life or like doing something or accompanying it with food or something, like, oh, I can't do sweet. It's offensive. It's just offensive and I hate it. It pisses me off. Everything pisses me off. But anyway, so no, this has a point. They always have a point, kinda. But this video is actually dedicated to someone, an anonymous individual, who was like, "Hey Claire," I don't know. They complimented me, so I was instantly charmed. And then they were like, "How did you get into writing?" And I was like, "I will do a video on that." And this time I won't wait like 2 months to. Oh. That was weird. Like I have Spotify up on my screen and it shows like in the corner like your friends who you follow are listening to this, and one of my childhood best friends is super like, we used to be really pretentious with music. Like we used to be all like, oh, you don't like this, you can only like this, and this isn't quality, and this is bad, and this is good, whatever. And we thought we were really cool. And ever since then we've grown out of it because I love One Direction now and whatever. I would never have done that before. She is kind of like that, but not as bad. She hasn't gone as far as like One Direction, but she's branching out. She's not judgmental anymore. But I thought she had listened to Gimme That by Chris Brown, and I was like, Christine? But then no, it's actually rough, so. This is 3 minutes of me just talking about shit no one cares about. Anyways, how I got into writing. Okay, let's start this. So yeah, I got into writing. It's actually not a substantial story because I don't really think there was like anything grandiose. There was never like a moment. It was never a culmination of anything. It just kind of happened. Quoting Harry. It was very Larry. What happened was I grew up. I was ejected from my mom after being a fetus, and then I grew up. And then after that, I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was junior high. Or perhaps earlier. No, I remember. Okay, here we go. We're getting deep now. Way back in the day, because every kid was obsessed with Harry Potter, otherwise you had bad taste, right? So I was naturally really obsessed, and the Goblet of Fire was like, I think the peak of my like childhood obsession. And I was reading or just had read that, and it was like, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It just came out. And so as a little girl, I forget how old I was at the time, maybe like 4th or 5th grade even, and I was like so obsessed. I wanted to write fanfic about Harry Potter, so I did it on this old yellow notebook, and I was writing my own Harry Potter story. Because I realized like what I want to happen, I can make happen. So like I don't even remember what it was about. I got like 3 pages maybe total, and then it stopped. But that was like my first start. And oh my god, how could I have forgotten? Okay. This is actually a funny story. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. No, how I got into writing. Okay, so that was the first part. I did like a fanfic, basically, and I didn't know it at the time for Harry Potter. And then Christine, who I actually just mentioned by saying she was the one that I grew up with, and we were like really pretentious with our music. Funnily enough, This is how cool we were. We were really young, like maybe that age or a year older, and then we really got into Nirvana, Weezer, and The Strokes, and Arctic Monkeys and Libertines. Like, those were our first bands that we were like, this is fucking great, deep, like we loved it. But because we were like 10, 11 maybe, we were still really stupid and young. So what we did was, in order to show our obsessions, aside from just buying t-shirts and being really cool, we started writing. Well, I started writing. I can't believe I'm mentioning in this in the light of day on the internet. But oh well, it's therapeutic. Time to be real. Me and Christine wrote like a comic thing, but like I would write it and she would draw it. And then once in a while we would switch and she would write and I would maybe attempt to draw, but I was more a vague drawer than an actual drawer. But okay, so yeah, that was the thing. They were I can't stop laughing because I'm embarrassed, but it was called Steezerville, and what the premise was this. It was Weezer and Strokes were making an album together, I think, or like teaming up, collaborating, maybe joining bands, and moved into a giant house together, like a mansion, and shenanigans ensued. And Christine is a really good illustrator. Like, she's really good at drawing. Her profession now has to do with graphic design and artistry, so she's solidly amazing, and even at that young age she was fucking amazing. So she would draw the comics because it was like, it was very gay. Julian and Nick were together. Rivers was in love with Julian, but Brian was in love with Rivers, and then Pat, I think, was with Fabrizio, and I don't know, like everyone was hooking up. We were like kids and everyone was hooking up. And it was just like fun though. It wasn't like graphic. It was just like silly, like tee hee hee. Everyone's like slapstick humor getting hurt, things like that. There was a point where I know Carl, like the 5th member of Weezer, was running around in assless chaps. And I do remember that Scott from Weezer had what we called a badass Barney bong. I don't know. I don't know. We thought we were really deep. So that was the thing. But yeah, so then after those happened, that was like a year, maybe more, I regret to say, of us, like, we had this notebook, we'd pass it back and forth, we made art for it, like, we were really into it, and it was just for fun, and we had, like, made up names, like, code names for authorship. I think hers was Biscuit, and mine was Catherine. It was weird. It was cute as hell looking back on it. She would kill me if she knew I was making a video about it, but it's fine. And then, what else happened? So then, yeah, we really got into the Steezerville thing, and after that, then after that, I really got into the Strokes, like, hardcore, like, the Strokes. Julian, to this day, is my husband. We've been together for, 15 years now? So I really fell hard for them, and so then I fixated on them as an individual band instead of, like, a bunch of bands, and then I started writing The Diary of Nick Valenci, which, I always write about diaries, because I wrote in the Downton Abbey fandom, I wrote a story called The Diary of Jimmy Kent, which was like the same vein of The Diary of Nick Valenci, and then I started The Diary of Harry Styles as this fandom, but then I was like, I got overwhelmed instantly, because I'm like, oh my god, if this is technical, I don't know shit about the X Factor, and I don't care to learn, because I don't have time for that. If I was getting paid, alright, but I'm not, so I'm like, nah. So then I stopped it, but I might someday, in the back of my head, I'm always like ideally gonna go back to it and not feel stressed out by the realities of it and just like make it up and hope no one cares, because I have a lot of like written for it and it's a lot of cute shit and it's so easy to write that format. But anyways, so yeah, so I was writing The Diary of Nick Valenci, which was like every month. Oh my god, that's the biggest writing. I think I still have it actually in my other computer, and like it was extensive. It was probably bigger than Young and Beautiful, maybe not, I don't know, but it was extensive because I talk a lot, and it was a detailed, every day had an entry, and it was about him and Julian falling in love. Oh my god, that's so funny. I can't believe I forgot about this. All the skeletons are coming out of the closet now. But, so yeah, so then, sorry, I'm like thinking as I stretch because it helps. after that, I think I started writing about Arctic monkeys. I started writing Arctic monkey stuff, and I wrote for Christine. I wrote for her Christmas present, I think. I gave her an Arctic monkey story. Kept writing her little things because she loved reading them. And then after that, in school, I started writing for fun. Like little bits. I always kept journals. I always was writing those. And then, I don't know, it just kind of culminated. It got really dramatic when I was a teenager, because that's when the crazy started, and the darkness came. And it was really like, I would hate to read that stuff now. I'd be like, this is toxic, and this is overdramatic, and this is crazy. This is not me. But teenagers, you know how it is. You're on fire as a teenager. You're not really you. You're just like trying to survive what's happening. So that wasn't part of my history. And then after all that stuff, there were creative writing stories I wrote for school. I started taking creative writing classes. In college, I took them every year. I took creative writing, and I wrote about Oscar Wilde, to weird dramatic shit, to silly shit. Like, I wrote one story which was in the format of an essay, complaining about writing an essay at night. And my teacher wanted to publish it, and it was cool, but then it had too many swear words, I guess. I swear too much. Was the lesson learned? No. I swear more now. So that got me far. But yeah, I think it's just been like, I'm listening to everyone's, or watching everyone what they're listening to on Spotify, and my friends have some weird fucking taste. Bethany's listening to Matt Zoe. What the fuck is Matt Zoe? Patterns emerging. I feel like that's chill out brain. Oh, are you stressed out, honey? Oh, I'm sorry for making fun. I'll text you something sweet. Anyways. So yeah, so writing was all over the place, and it just was like, I actually, now that I think about it, was kind of writing fanfic all my life. Wow. I wrote for Robin Hood, the TV show. Oh my god, it's all coming back to me. This is 12 minutes, but like, I'm having a good time now. You got me going. Robin Hood, I think I wrote for Downton Abbey. What else have I been obsessed with? I was gonna write for Merlin. Turns out Merlin actually has like the best fanfic ever. It's well written. It's interesting. Oh my god, it's great. I want to like switch out the names of Harry and Louis and put them in a Merlin fic because they're fucking good. And it's all love-hate, so I'm like, let's get it started. Because I love, or enemies to lovers. Or enemies to friends to lovers. Either way, I'm like, oh, give it all. But yeah, so that's kind of a general idea. I just basically always have been writing for whatever I'm obsessed with, and then only really recently did I actually start like, hey, maybe I'll just put it on the internet so people can laugh at me. Because like, what else am I doing with it? It just either I would give it to like my friend Christine, or I would just let it sit in the computer. But now I'm trying to be more like, I don't know, just here, someone might like it. And then, you know, some people do like it, so it's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, so, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I hope I answered your question. I know I probably discussed a lot more than you wanted me to. Sorry, I ramble a lot, but that's all. I'm going to go back to writing this letter and maybe writing a little bit of fic shit. So you guys have a wonderful day today. That soul, right? I don't know what that was. Okay, bye.